What is going on, people? Welcome back. McLaren Fan TV back at ya with your boy Peter on pole with my co-host Mahad from the Pit Stop Fracas. Mahad, how you doing, man? Fresh off the sunny hills of Azerbaijan.
How we doing, people? Our car is semi-fast now. Well, it's
Hey.
faster than before. So, yeah, miss you all. Hope you're all doing well. Let us know where you're at in the chat, man. Which chat you are
Yes.
right now.
Yes, indeed. We did come to this weekend, last weekend, with some upgrades, with at least a car that was supposed to be here at the start of the season. And straight off the bat, like, what did you think of these upgrades in terms of when we got into practice, we got into the sprint weekend, we got into the quali and the race. What was your thoughts of the upgrades alone?
Oh, so obviously practice was kind of disturbed
Ye-
because of all the incidences. A certain Alpine on fire after they said they were
Thank
going
you
to
very
be
much.
talking to Mercedes and Aston Martin. But yeah, it kind of looked promising. We didn't really look too slow. The bit that kind of like raised my eyebrows was qualifying. I think Norris, like, he left a bit on the table, to be fair. And I think we kind of put him out there in the wrong situation where he couldn't get a toe as well. And he still finished only a 10th behind Alonso and Lewis Hamilton in qualifying. So
Yeah.
if Norris is the guy that raises the ceiling of the car, it's kind of looking impressive. Obviously, we know that they had DRS issues as the Martin, but to be within a 10th of Lewis Hamilton looks like it's promising on a track that, first of all, it doesn't suit our car and the upgrades that we've had, so you wouldn't really see 100% on it. And we only had one practice session, so it hasn't been like tested properly. If we were talking about we've had like 40 minutes of a practice session, how that's not
Yeah.
enough time to calibrate whatever upgrades we had. It's not like we did track time elsewhere and stuff like that. So I really think after practice 3 of Miami, we'll kind of see where we're at with the upgrades. But it does look promising, the fact that we've had such limited time doing what we needed to do with the car and kind of looked comfortable best of the rest,
Mm.
regardless of like what was happening at Alpine. Alpine just looked shocking. I think we're either right now at the same level as Alpine or just a little bit ahead, which is promising
Yeah.
with one upgrade.
Yeah, so you mentioned there that the Baku circuit might not be the best. We might not get the full scope of what these upgrades look like on a circuit like Baku. But then, what do you think for Miami? Then, do you reckon like we will get a bit more? Because you were saying by practice 3 in Miami, hopefully you might see something. But I know Miami not a straightforward track itself. So, do you think we'll see more in Miami than we did in Baku?
Um, I'm not too sure because I'm trying to remember the layout of Miami. I think in the slow corners, because it has got quite slow corners, will
Mm,
be quite quick. Because even if you looked back at Australia, it was the quickest car by far in the slow corners. But it's really about that long back straight in Miami as well. That listen, in Baku, we're still not good in the straights. The DRS is not effective. So
yeah.
whatever upgrades we did, we need to sort that bit out because we're still slow in a straight line. We can't overtake a Haas in Hulkenberg on a straight line in a straight. So
Yeah. Yeah.
that is a major problem. Obviously, we've worked on the floor and so on, but we need to sort that DRS out and make sure that it's as effective as, let's say, a Williams or a Red Bull and so on, where they're an absolute dagger in a straight line. It's weird to me because when we look at back to 2020 and 2021, straight line speed was not our problem. We were the
Yeah.
fastest car in a straight line by a mile.
Yeah.
That's the whole reason why we won in Monza, because we were
Yeah.
absolutely lightning in the straight line and we were really bad in slow corners. And now I feel like maybe the development curve went to overcompensate so we're good in slow corners and we've kind of lost that straight line speed that we had. So it's really about how do we get that straight line speed back? And obviously, we haven't seen the upgrades completely, and we had a specific rear wing for this race. But I'm quite positive that, listen, if you can find the balance, okay, you lose a little bit of downforce for slow speed corners, but you gain a lot for the straights. We can find that perfect balance to be where we want to be.
Overall, how are you feeling in terms of optimism going to the next couple of races? Are you in a happier place than where you were 2 weeks ago, for example?
Yeah, if the upgrades came and we weren't anywhere near. I'm 100% confident if we came out of that scenario in the race after the safety car ahead of Hulkenberg and Ocon. If we came out then, we would have probably kept up with Hamilton and Russell. And obviously, I'm not saying that we would have overtaken them, but we would have kept up with those guys, Hamilton, Russell, and Stroll, and would have been with that pack.
Yeah.
But it's just the luck of the draw with the safety car. It's kind of like it's quite funny. It's kind of like what Alonso did last year in Monaco, where he just held up the pack.
Yes.
That's what Ocon and Hulkenberg were doing. They're like, listen, we're waiting for a red flag so we can eat. I don't care how slow we get.
We were saying that, big up to everybody. I was on the last lap representing McLaren Fan TV, and I remember sort of saying like, there's got to be another red flag here, because I don't think we had a red flag for a good 20 plus laps, and it was like, this is weird, because everybody was sort of caressing the wall a little bit. That drivers were sort of understeering just a tad, and you thought somebody's going to tag this wall, and we're going to get another red sort of safety
not red
car
flag,
out.
safety car.
Sorry.
Yeah.
And basically, where it could let Norris breathe a little bit, and even Piastri and the like, because as you said, Ocon did, Ocon was giving us that slow train that that made the race a lot slower, if you get what I mean.
They ruined a couple of people's races, Sonoda, Albon,
exactly.
a lot of people.
There's quite a few. Big up to everybody in the chat. Listen, I know it's a Wednesday and you're thinking, what's going on? We will be back to Tuesdays. Believe me, yeah? The season's coming to an end over here, and we're going to be back every single Tuesday, 7 p.m., unless life happens. Because that's what happens. Life happens.
Exactly.
Shout out to Bethany Croft, who says, Quali gave me a bit of hope. Yeah, what was your thoughts on Quali then?
Let me get the quality times up. Because I didn't watch Quali live, because for goodness sake, it's at 2 p.m. GMT. Like, what the hell is that about? On a Friday, I'm in a meeting.
Hey, that was a howler. Listen, you better
I can watch it after.
You better believe I had the Sky Go going, boy. You have to understand. Needs must. People were asking me, what's going on? I said, listen, I'm saying? I'm into turn 2 right now, bro. Leave me alone. Like,
do you know what's so funny? Yeah, I watched the rerun of it, and I was thinking, why is Q1 so long? It was like 37 minutes long. Q1, what the hell was that about?
It took forever, innit? It took forever.
I tried to watch it in the night, and then I watched Q1 and Q2, and then I fell asleep in Q3, and I had to watch it in the morning. Because just like, what the hell was that? Wow, that was the longest quali session ever.
It was a long quali. So
we had both McLarens in the top 10 quali-wise, which is to me quality. Yes. We had Oscar about 3 tenths back from Lando Norris, and Oscar set the exact same time as Lance Stroll, but because Lance Stroll set the time first, he started 9th and Oscar started 10th.
Yeah.
And then we have Lando Norris only half a tenth behind Alonso and 1 tenth behind Lewis Hamilton.
Yeah.
1 tenth behind Lewis Hamilton, 2 tenths behind Carlos Sainz. so you can tell why Lando Norris was a bit peed off, because he didn't get a toe, and he said P4 was on the cards. So why did we kind of effed up there?
Yeah.
So no, I could do, if you could see how the weekend kind of unfolded by Friday for Lando, because if Lando qualifies P4 for Sunday, he's not caught in that mess, the Ocon and Hulkenberg mess, and we're looking at maybe dueling with these guys. Obviously, he might have been overtaken by Lewis Hamilton or Russell or Alonso, but he'd still be there in that bunch.
Listen, it was, as you said, the way you broke that down there, it was positive signs, man. For me, I was like, you know what, if this is what we can do, week 1 of the new upgrades, I'm thinking there's plenty in the tank here. I mean, I don't know if was it the sprint shootout where Stroll kind of pips Piastri to Q3 because Piastri doesn't get the toe, right, as well. So Norris doesn't get the toe in quali, and I think Piastri doesn't get it in the shootout.
In the sprint shootout, he didn't get a toe, and he should have been in Q3 as well.
He should have been, yeah. And the thing is but then again, is it like a case of, because at the time, people were saying, why didn't nobody give Norris the toe? Why did nobody give Piastri the toe? And I thought, are we saying it in hindsight because Stroll got a toe from Alonso? Or like, would it normally even matter beforehand?
Yeah, are they saying that? They're doing teamwork over there, Why
Yeah,
are we not doing teamwork? I'm not too sure. Like at the end of the day, I just feel, with Lando, I just think they've put him out on the track at the wrong time. Yeah,
yeah,
in qualifying on Friday, they put him out on the track wrong time. The second time in the sprint quali, I feel like maybe they could have coordinated it so Piastri can get a tow. But was it really? I think McLaren came out and said no, that wasn't an issue. We wanted Norris to get into Q3. It's just really about if Piastri could knock out. Let me see what sprint shootout, how far he was off.
sprint
So
shootout.
do you
Piastri.
know what it is? Maybe they wanted Lando to kind of pip Stroll, but they didn't preempt him getting a tow from Alonso. Because look at the tow that Stroll got from Alonso, and he only just pipped Lando Norris, like barely.
Yeah, the only thing I will say is because I guess there was a tire situation, wasn't there, for the sprint where Lando's was going to be cooked anyway. So it's almost like why didn't we give Piastri the advantage rather than Lando? Because I think Lando had a tire that he went into the race to the
Because
sprint
he
anyway
used more softs in the
in
real quali
quali.
session, so he could
Yeah,
actually get into a good position. Where we
yeah,
messed up and did not get in P4. You see what I'm saying? There's a
yeah,
knock-on
yeah.
effect for his whole weekend. He can't compete in Q3 because they were targeting P4 in the race, and the fact that we're even targeting P4 in quali,
For sure.
that's a
That's a
good
big
sign,
deal.
right?
That's a big deal.
So maybe we might be in a situation like how Ferrari is, where we're really good in quali, but maybe we drop off in the race pace wise. But I didn't get to see really our race pace because once he got past Hulkenberg and Ocon, Norris was gone. But it's too
Yeah.
late. The race is over. So we didn't really get to see race pace. So any of us, I can't really comment. We can kind of comment on the quali pace because we saw 2 quali sessions, but we can't really talk about the race pace because we were just hampered by not being able to
Yeah.
open that DRS being useless.
No, absolutely. Listen, guys, big up to everybody that's watching right now. If you guys are just joining us, make sure you smash a like on the video. This is for McLaren fans everywhere, all over the world. Okay, we've got people worldwide. This is McLaren Fan TV worldwide. That's what we should rename this channel to. Big up
I'm
to
gonna put an
C who
orange
says,
globe in the top right.
"Hey, come on
Watch.
now." Yeah, for real. Z says Q1 was 48 minutes long.
It
So
was
Z's with
insane,
me.
man. What the
It
hell was
was
that about?
it was a long time. Beth mentioned as well that compared to the start of the season, for Norris not to get into Q1, it was bad.
It was
I'm
bad. Now we're looking like the best of the rest because let's compare normal quality to Alpine. Like Oscar's 2 tenths faster than Ocon.
This is what we like to see. These are scenes we like to see. Scenes of glorious emotion. Yeah, absolutely. Big up to Amon who says hi guys. Says when the second pack of upgrades will come. When do you reckon that we're looking at?
So they said before the summer break, but so I'm just gonna say July because there's like 4-ish races in July, right? Yeah, there is.
Yeah.
So we've got Austria first race, like it'd be right at the beginning of July. Then we got Silverstone. Then we have Hungary and Spa. So it's either one of those 4 races.
Yeah.
Do you know what? To be fair, I feel like a lot of teams bring upgrades to Silverstone.
They do, don't they? I think they do.
But
Is
apparently, out of all the upgrades, this is the biggest one. This second one.
The second one. Why is that?
Because Stella said it's akin to a B spec car.
Okay. Interesting.
So that sounds like the big one, and I feel like the third upgrade is going to be after the summer break, and apparently that's going to be the first upgrades made in our wind tunnel.
So when are we pulling the trigger? You reckon Silverstone?
It's either Austria or Silverstone. Who brings upgrades? No, I would. I don't think you would bring upgrades to Austria because it's a sprint race this year. Why would you bring them into a sprint race? I know we brought them to a sprint race now, but that was just out of necessity rather than
yeah, we were
because we needed points.
No, for sure.
I feel like if we were in a more comfortable position, we wouldn't have brought upgrades this week and would have brought it in maybe Imola like everybody else.
Yeah, you saying that Austria is a sprint race has just reminded me that Silverstone isn't, which is a howler. But hey ho, we move on, man.
But Baku shouldn't have been the sprint race, and Silverstone should be the sprint race. No, but then the Silverstone sprint race wasn't good. From what I remember, it was not good.
Yeah, it was. We'll dig in. We'll dig in on this one. Big up Steph Flo says, what's good, McLaren fan
What's
TV.
good,
What's
Steph
going on?
Flow? Shout
What's
outs to
happening? Hope you're
everybody.
good.
Shout outs to
Big up J
I'm on
Starship.
Bethany, Beth,
J
J
Star
Starship. Shout outs to you,
here.
Zach,
100%.
Nate.
We've got Zach Brown in the building. Big up Zach Brown. He's just rocked in. I feel optimistic. As you guys said, it's not a track that suits the car too well, and there was still obvious improvement, likely more room for improvement in the coming races.
I feel like I don't know if you agree with this, Pete. As the time goes by, you get used to the upgrades, you find out more information, and then now it's just about tweaking. It's really about finding the right balance and finding the right calibrating it so you can get the best performance out of whatever package you got. So now it's just really about the tweaking process, and now it's good. So now for us, it's a good thing that we've got a lot of races. We've got 5 races in 6 weeks or whatever, because we can actually work on that now.
The data is outrageous.
We need the data.
The amount of information coming out of that will be unreal. J Starship says it's a waiting game for Imola for a few teams. Yeah,
I think Mercedes got upgraded, isn't it? Big one.
Well, for Imola, yeah.
But
it's all about track position there, boy. It's all about track position there. At the end of the day,
I think, guys, I genuinely think, the 2 races you all need to watch out for is Imola. No, the 3 races we need to watch out for is Imola, Monaco, Barcelona. I feel like we're gonna really do well in those races.
Oh yeah, so as McLaren fans, yeah,
as McLaren fans, that's the ones we need to look at.
We're looking at
like Imola. I don't know. Imola and Monaco definitely smelling like podiums. Because especially if it's, let's say for example, this is hypothetical right now.
Yeah.
If we nailed the quali, like we should have nailed the quali in Baku, but with a more calibrated car for Monaco.
Yes.
This is possible podium. Because all you need to do is stats 1 lap. If we can get 1 lap pace out, I'm not saying that we would win the race, because probably Ferrari saying all we need to do is put Charles on pole and we can win.
And we can be all right, yeah.
Yeah. So, and we've seen Ferrari, they got 2 pole positions this weekend. They can beat the Red Bulls in quali. All we need to do is be semi-good in quali.
Yeah.
And I feel like we beat George Russell in quali.
Hey, the stats don't lie, man.
Mercedes. We're 1/10 off, half a tenth off Aston Martin. I feel like if we could just string that 1 lap together in Monaco or Imola, we could do something. And the fact that both of those are not like those stupid ass weekends where you got like sprint or whatever, we could really maximize quali and then kind of defend that position within the race.
No, absolutely. No, absolutely. Amon says that what the hell happened to Lando's tires on the Friday? This is the sprint.
I think they just used more softs.
They just used them more on Friday. Friday is the quali.
Yeah. I think they just used more softs in that session.
Hence why.
And I think there's a stupid rule that you have to have new softs if you get to Q3 on Saturday. And we didn't have new softs. We have used.
None. Yeah, we didn't have none. Nate says, lads, good to see you lot back. Big up yourself, Nate. Hope you're good. Hope you're well. Nathan says, evening, brothers. Peter, how was your Monday? My head was gone after that. The ref, women's football, yeah? Listen, I'm all for it, yeah? I'll back it. But the refereeing is scandalous.
Shocking,
I said, it's a different episode. It's for a different podcast. But yeah, UEFA Women's Champions League. So close. TSJ Awesome says, I'm glad Silverstone isn't a sprint. Otherwise, they would have probably increased the ticket prices.
They would have done a madness.
I mean, there are madness now.
I know a couple of people that are going there and they're like, this is insane. They even like certain bits that are happening on the weekend. You have to pay like 100 odd quid just to do those like little events that's happening over the weekend in Silverstone. You have to remember you're like in a field in Northampton. It's not like you can like pop down the high street or whatever.
Do you know what I'm saying?
You're in the middle of nowhere.
I might as well go Hungary, bro. Do you know what I mean? Just
Hungary is cheap. Go to Bucharest, have a nice weekend.
You know what I'm saying? Budapest, right?
Budapest or Bucharest? I was saying go to Romania. I'm sorry, my bad.
If I get Romania, that's a stretch.
Romanian GP, come through, man.
Yeah. McKenna says, so what's the word, fellas? The upgrades worked or not? Big up yourself, first of all. Yeah. I think they've definitely given us something. You know what I'm saying? It was better than what we were watching the first 2 weeks. It's given us something. That's for damn sure.
I don't think we get
So
into Q3 without the upgrade.
no, we don't get
I
two
think we're
cars into Q3.
comfortable into Q3. I think we're comfortable in Q3 as well. If you look at the time gaps to the people outside.
Oh my days, yeah. Could you imagine if we had Danny Ricciardo this year before these upgrades? What would your thoughts be? Not to cook Danny Ricciardo, but just the reality. Like, what would it be?
I just
What
don't
would
think
it
he
be
had
like?
grip. He didn't get to grips with the car. He doesn't. They don't seem. He doesn't seem like an adaptable driver.
It has to be
This is not a
perfect.
slate. This is not a slate to Daniel
No,
Ricciardo. But sometimes it
definitely
just
not.
don't fit. That's just how it is. I'm
The
not
shoe.
saying Daniel Ricciardo is a failure because he didn't succeed in McLaren. McLaren is just a very difficult car to drive, and it has specific needs. And then that's why we kind of prosper more with drivers that have just come into it, that have just come into Formula One, and or are highly adaptable drivers, aka Alonso or Sainz, Jenson Button, etc. And even Jenson Button sometimes he would really struggle.
Yeah. No, he would. He would. He would. J Starship says Mercedes better come with something if I have to watch these Snoozefest of Baku and Miami back to back. Do we think Miami
What do you
will be
think of
another
Baku?
smooth?
What do you think of Baku? Has your opinion changed about the Baku track?
I'm a fan of Baku still to this day. I think like
Is it
especially
crash
like
dependent?
yes. Yeah, I
Is
think
a
it is.
track good if it's crash dependent?
I get your question. Is a track? Well, no, it's not good if it's track dependent. But let's go crash dependent. But let's have it right. It is. I like the fact that there's that mix between slow corners and then the long straight. The straight feels like forever. That long start finish line straight. And also, I just think we've had different. When I look at the Grand Prix we've had in Baku over the years, we've had different types of winners. We've had different circumstances of races. It's a race that for me goes down. It's a track and a circuit that marks itself in history in Formula One because it's actually like we're still too early to call it like a legendary track or whatever. But I think looking back at it, we will always look and say, do you know what? Some of the best drivers do show up, and like a Sergio Perez, for example, he seems to love this circuit no matter what, and the fact that he's potentially giving us a title race this year. If we need circuits like, but if I need to rely on some street circuits, I'll choose Baku as one of them.
I would say it was a bad idea to do a sprint race there because you don't want people to do a whole practice race at that track, which they basically did in the sprint race. They did a practice race
It was carnage.
so they can get used to it. So then there's less likeliness for carnage. You know what I'm saying? Because if you did a sprint race on the Saturday, they could do all their calibrations. Obviously, it's part firme, but they actually kind of understand the track and the drivers get used to it. Then on the Saturday, on the Sunday, it's less likely incidents are going to happen. So just don't give them that opportunity to do a whole half a race or whatever it was.
Very true. No, very true. I think there was the excitement wasn't necessarily there on the Sunday. You kind of got it all got used up Friday, Saturday, and then that was that.
What happened with Lando with the softs on Saturday?
Flipping hell, man! They were like beef patties, bro. As soon as he stepped out,
that lasted 25 seconds. Them tires.
I said, "Yo, man's on the quick tire. Let's see what you can do." Yeah, I was excited, bro. I was ready to roll, and I see he pitted quick. I said, "Yo, these
I
tires
see
ain't
man's
doing
name
it."
just dropping. I said, "Nah."
You said
This is crazy.
these
What is the differential between the softs and the mediums, man? Because them softs are just ridiculous. They're rubbish.
Well, bear in mind, what year was it when was it last year when Verstappen's tire just popped and what's my man? Not last year, it was probably the year before, where Verstappen's tire popped and Stroll's tires just popped, and it was proper soft, like soft tires. So they had to give.
Man.
So I think obviously the medium tire, it was the elite tire, man. Nathan says Imola, the reborn temple of speed. Man,
man's trying to say it's reborn. I like Imola, man. Imola's fun. Do you know what? Because I do a lot of like little sim racing here and there. I like Imola as a track. Imola's a good track.
Yeah.
It's fun to drive.
It's
very fun. Obviously, it doesn't really encourage overtaking, but it's a very fun track to drive. But
it's a skilled circuit, isn't it? It's quite
definitely
skilled.
100%.
I like it, man.
I think we're gonna do well in Imola, guys. Miami. I say we use this as like a testing weekend. See what happens.
Just
obviously we've only ever had one race in Miami, and that race last year. If you guys were here last year, if you haven't, go back to that episode
Yeah,
in Miami.
dire straits,
We
man.
were kicking off. I think that was one of the worst race weekends last year.
It was a bad race weekend. It was such a bad race weekend because so much
we just weren't
happened.
serious, man. From the James Corden in the paddock to the horrible pit stops.
Guys, make sure
Norris
you
getting
follow us.
crashed into by Gasly, Ricciardo being slow. It was a horrible weekend.
Honestly, guys, make sure you follow us on Twitter at McLaren Fan TV because you will see some. Did you put it on the McLaren Fan TV channel? Or was it on your one?
No.
It's on your one.
It's just on my Twitter account. Sorry.
Oh my God, follow Mahad on Twitter, man. Honestly, the flashbacking of last year's Miami with the belly tops of Lando Norris, Danny Ricciardo, and then James Corden in the middle. No, never again. I don't want to see any. Listen, Zach, you're doing your job in it, yeah. Like today, what's the sponsor we got today? Is it Reese?
Oh, we got Reese. Oh yeah, listen, I saw that at Westfield. I need to see the McLaren drop right now,
bro. Let me tell you,
I went in there and I was like, "Right, this is crazy place."
Yeah, I looked at a suit one time in there. I said, "Yeah, that's all right, man. I'll leave, boy." You know what I'm saying, I'll leave, boy, with the money still in the wallet. Do you know what I mean?
Hey, Reese, if you need anybody to do a little bit of McLaren campaigns and Lando and Oscar and about, holler at us, man. We'll do that.
You know what I'm saying?
McLaren Fan TV sponsored by Reese.
Honestly, like I was crying when I saw there's another sponsor. I said, how much can they put on this car? And the thing is, as well, now we've got the digital thing, so there's always going to be room. So like, there's always going to be something for somebody. Like even if worse comes to worse, if we can't fit you on the car, we'll stick it on the digital print, and then you're there, mate. You get your airtime there. TSJ Awesome says Norris said he thought he would have qualified P4, like P4 in quali, bruv.
I'm looking at it right now. He's literally, and he had no toe. He literally is 2/10 of Carlos Sainz, who's P4.
People here, right?
What's the toe? What's the toe gonna be like?
Yeah, no, it's true. I don't know exactly what a toe would be like. Do you know what I mean? Look at all
at least 3/10.
McLaren coming back, Cowabunga Cup, always changing sponsors. Drea, big up yourself. Don't worry, you're not too late. You're not too late. You're not too late. Don't worry about that. Miami last year was awful. Can only get better this year. I'm so happy we have a normal weekend for FPs.
Yeah, free
practice. Where we can test the upgrades properly. 100%. We hear you on that. Yeah. Who else was rinsing Corden? Yeah, Z says the Corden bit still gives me second-hand embarrassment. It was a farce, man. It was an absolute farce. Let's be very clear, man.
Listen, if you go to heaven, yeah, and you're in hell. You're in hell,
bro. I tried to find the gif of the guy that actually says that, and I couldn't find it. But bro, I cried when you tweeted that. I was dying.
That guy, man. Things are going badly if he's about.
Yeah, if James, man, that's so the disrespect. Amon says this season is a stinker for overtaking now. Every race you need track position if you don't drive for Red Bull. Is that true? Like take Red Bull aside.
Alonso overtaking Sainz.
Let's take Red Bull aside out of this for a second. Yeah, is it the case that if we, the Ferrari, the Mercedes, the McLarens, Aston Martins, Alpines, and so on, like, do we need track position to overtake? I don't know if I agree wholeheartedly with that. I feel like
maybe last year in Baku, if you was within maybe 3 to 4 tenths of somebody, you're overtaking them. And now it feels like the person in front has an advantage.
Yeah.
And that maybe is due to them raising the floors, and now there's actually dirty air. So which is the complete opposite of what you want to do with a ground effect car, where it kind of pushes the air up over the car, so it's not hitting it. But now, because you raise the floor, now that air now you're getting dirty air back. So I know that I've been rattling my brain about this for quite a long time, and I'm thinking they've set some rules, for ground effect cars. Then there's porpoising because people, couldn't engineer their way around the porpoising, right?
Yeah.
So then they've put in that TD in September, which was repealed and then replaced with another TD in January that does basically the same thing. So it's literally still exactly the same thing, but it's kind of letting those people off for failing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So is it a case of, and I remember Ross Brawn saying this in testing last year in Barcelona in 2022, is that why do these guys have porpoising? Did they not know about it?
It's true. Yeah, I
So
guess
the only
so.
person
So
that
the
did take
thought,
that into account was Nui. So so what do you do? Do you, it's like being a teacher, yeah? If you do a test and then everybody fails the test, you set a test and everybody fails the test and only one student passes the test. Do
yeah.
you now set an easier test
Well,
so students pass, or do you just tell them man fix up and pass the test? Yes, J Starship, they got rid of that and then they replaced it with something that does exactly the same thing. That's the only reason the TD is gone. The TD is gone. It got repealed because the new TD in January has the same intended effect,
yeah.
which is still dirtier.
Big up Omar Hossein. I've never seen you before on here. Maybe you have been
Shout
on
out to
here
Omar.
before, but listen, big up yourself, man. Big up for joining us. And we've also got Nathan saying that Miami's going to be another snooze fest. Practices at
Hey,
7
listen,
p.m. on
in Miami,
Friday.
we've only seen one race. We've only seen one race.
True.
I can't say
But
it's
listen,
going to be a snooze fest. I don't know.
what are you doing Friday night, bro? At 7 p.m. Like, do I have to question everyone's
I ain't watching no practice sessions, man. Nah,
7 p.m. on a Friday?
I'm
Man's with
outside.
a life, yeah.
I might catch
but
what time's the second one?
quali is at 9 p.m. on a Saturday. People like to get busy out there.
You're killing me, man. 9 p.m. on a Saturday, you know. I might be home then. I feel like Saturday's gonna be like I'm gonna be out during the day and then I'll be home in the evening.
Is Saturday gonna be a sensible one, yeah? It's gonna be a sensible
practice 2 is at 10:30 at night UK time
on a Friday.
On a Friday.
That's amazing. That is actually amazing. Danny Rick is busy pulling up Anne Hathaway.
That was interesting, wasn't it?
I couldn't. I just honestly.
That would be the most interesting couple ever.
What, more than what's my man's name with Alonso and Thing? What's the girl's
Alonso
name?
and Taylor Swift.
That's it.
Man. That's fake news, man. That's Tumblr, man.
Bro, you say that, yeah? Alonso won't deny nothing. He won't deny nothing. So I'm not talking about it. I'm not gonna talk about
Alonso's like, listen, no matter what, I'm gonna get in the news, man. I said this the other day, yeah. This guy's gonna become a meme, man. He's Drewski, man.
He said
he's
it's
Spanish
fake
Drewski,
news, but bro, it's news nonetheless.
Whoever I actually know somebody that works at Aston Martin social media team. Them guys are cooking. They know what they're doing.
They know what they're
Watch
doing,
their TikTok. Man. They're smart, man. They're really good at social media.
Oh dear. Omar says
McLaren social media team. Take some notes from Aston Martin social media.
I wonder if what's her name still works for McLaren. Do you remember back in the day, like these F1 content creators? There was a girl in the F series called Dorney, F1 Dorney. She was Scottish. She moved to McLaren.
Yeah, where's she at?
She moved to McLaren and stopped doing content because she moved to McLaren. So I wonder if she's still about like that.
Maybe.
I pick out yourself, F1 Dorney, if you're still there.
Get us on.
Yeah, man, get us on. Like, what are you doing? Big up, man. Maybe that's the reason why we're getting the follows, bro. Maybe because she's still keeps in touch. That would be hilarious. It's not what you know, it's who you know. Omar says most of the F1 technical accounts who go through the data said look out for McLaren at Miami. That's what I'm talking about. No, what I need, Omar, I need all the receipts of people that told me we're finishing P10 in the constructors. I need the ones that I was behind the Haas. I was behind the Williams. I was behind the Alfa.
Where's that chart? I need to find that chart right now.
I was behind the Alfa Romeo. Have you had a look at them this season?
Do you remember we put up the chart pre-season? But where's that chart though? We need to find that. I'm
telling you, I need to find. Was it Lawrence was in there? Yeah, Lawrence Barreto, big up everyone. Ted Kravitz, she was in there. Buxton was in there. There was a few man in there. The race and whatnot. You lot were in there, telling me my guys P10. Nah, do you know what? I should have cooked on Sunday. It's all coming back to me now because Tomo asked me, like, you know, how do I feel about with what McLaren's saying? And I said, listen, I need to hot up some guys here on this show because
you need to hot
Cam. I was looking for killer Cam. You know what I'm saying? I was like, hang on a minute. Last time I checked, we're 2 tenths, 1 tenth behind you in quali.
Say, hey Z, I know you just said you had that bookmark on Twitter. Please send it to us. McLaren Fan TV right now.
Oh, lovely.
Send that to us. At us.
We know full well that you guys do not fail. That's one thing I know for sure. You lot do not fail us. All right, let me get through the comment section here. What's my man saying? J Starship saying these are not good tires. How don't the wet tires work in the wet?
Apparently it's going to rain in Miami. If I see them wet tires, yeah, and then wet tires don't work, I want Pirelli arrested immediately. Go get Michelin right now. Go get Michelin right now.
Man are
Bad
telling
enough.
me the wets are not working in the wet. Nah. We need to
Did
have a
they work?
conversation.
Did they work in Japan? They didn't work in Japan.
They didn't work at all in Japan. Mind you, though, I can forgive them in Japan. Japan looks like it's monsoon settings. It's not just rain. Like they
No,
get hell for leather,
but Miami's like that though.
and Miami
Last
is
time
like
I
that.
went to Miami, it was like chucking it down with rain, and then
Yo,
it's sunshine. Then it's chucking it down. It's so humid as well.
I
It's like
remember.
proper tropic weather.
Yeah, I went to Key West, a little island just in Florida, but like a little bit away from the mainland. Yeah, and yo, it was baking. When I say for all the Fahrenheit people, it was like 110, comfortably 110, sticky baking. Yeah, and then we had a downpour, like like Malaysian Grand Prix downpour. We had a downpour that lasted about 20 minutes. It chucked, man. When I tell you, like, all the clothes, everything I owned was drenched. Everything I wore drenched. And then the sun came out like nothing happened. Like absolutely nothing took place. I'm thinking, hang on a minute. And believe I dried. Believe I dried up before I got home.
You
You
know,
better
yeah,
believe it.
it's so hot that your clothes dry. I was on Miami Beach, and then every time the clouds come, they go, there's like a siren. Wow, like, get off the beach right now. There's a storm coming right now. This is the minute. This is happening in May. You know, I went there in May.
This is fantastic. I was
So
there in
this is what. So the race is in May.
June.
Hopefully, it happens again. I literally
Yeah,
saw a video like a couple weeks back. The whole of Miami was flooded.
Yeah. There was that. And was the track flooded as well? Because if I remember, I say track. The street was flooded because there was no. What did they say they didn't have? They didn't have. I think it's to do with drainage or whatever. They just couldn't. There was no place for the water to escape.
water
Was
to go.
basically the term. Yeah, and it was like, what do you mean it's flooded? Like, what are we talking about here? But I've heard this year they got real water as well, next to the fake water.
Shout out to you, Z. Z came through with the receipts.
As Z come through with the receipts. Ah, what a man!
Crazy
What a man or woman! Ah, honestly.
Have you got access to the Twitter account on the?
Yeah, I got that. Oh, on the Lappy.
On the Lappy.
I'll double check that.
It now.
Let me double check that, cuz. Let me double check that, cuz. Man are telling me, yeah. What? Let's see.
We're gonna put it up on the screen, guys. Shout out to
Go
you,
on.
Z, legend.
Oh, let me thingy. I big up Z. In the meantime, let me pull up. I'm gonna pull up. In the meantime, what's it called? Let's chat on while I pull it up because there's a lot.
Let me just hold on a second. I just want to see the standings, guys.
Check the
Formula One standings right now is very telling about another team that was talking a lot in that break. I think they were talking a lot.
Who was talking a lot in the break? Let me think. Who was talking a lot?
I think it was Peter Griffin. No. Otmar. I don't know.
There we go. Do you know what, Z? And forgive me for calling you a man, but let me tell you something, bruh. This is elite. Let me tell you right now, F1 scene. This is it. I'm gonna pull it up in a sec. But yeah, you were saying?
Yeah, I was saying that. So I'm looking at the constructor standing now. Yeah.
Yeah.
Haas is closer to Alpine than Alpine is closer to us.
Oh, don't you just love it? Don't you just love it? Huh? Don't
Haas,
you just love
Haas
it?
and Alfa Romeo are breathing down Alpine's neck. They've got bigger problems.
Everyone, tell me if
you
can
look at this. Look at this.
Let me hide. Hang on. Let me hide the thing real quick. Let me zoom.
Let's zoom in.
Let me get the zoom on. Let me get this Azerbaijan banner off as well. I want you lot to see. Yeah, I want you lot all to see this in the flesh because this is an outrageous.
What do you think of this, guys?
Let me see. Oh, walk on. Why am I not thinking? Oh, let me know.
They said Alfa Romeo.
Look at this. The shame.
Where's Alfa Romeo? Why did they?
What? That man, was it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6?
They got low key. They got it spot on. Top 3.
Nah, do you know what? Low key, yeah, top three's looking all right.
It's
I'm not gonna
spot on
lie. They
because
got
they
it all
knew
right,
Aston
top
Martin
three.
was better than
Although
Mercedes,
you,
and
you
then they
say
got
this though,
Ferrari there.
aren't Aston Martin P2 in the constructors though?
Yeah, that's more to do with like Ferrari effing up, man. They should have had Ferrari should have way more points from Australia, man. What the hell would they
Yo,
do?
yeah, no. Listen, I need the streets to talk to me. Why is the Alfa Romeo ahead of McLaren on everyone's
Why is it
prediction?
Haas?
Don't know what the Haas is doing there.
Why is
Nor the
like why not? Do you know what the biggest teams that have been disrespected on there right now is
yeah,
is the is the Williams and the McLaren. Because the
yeah,
Williams ain't that bad. I
the
know Williams are lost in the constructors, but they're
yeah.
generally not that bad. Yeah.
No, spot on. You're spot on. Like at the end of the day, like it's just
The person that we need to speak to right now is Will Buxton or Lawrence Barretto come outside.
yeah. Lawrence, we need a word. Buxton, what
We
is
need to have a
going
word.
on? Huh? And I had time for Buxton, you know. I have time for Buxton, you know. But
Albert's got
this,
some credibility.
listen, Albert, we don't want no smoke. Still, you still got us behind an
I'm
Alfa
good.
Romeo.
No, it's good. It's all good. It's all good.
You still got us behind an Alfa
Because
Romeo, but
if we're
I don't
talking
want no
about,
smoke with him.
nah, it's all right. It's all right.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
Lawrence Barretto, my friend,
Yo,
I'm putting you
outside
for a watch.
ting. Outside ting, man. Come on, outside ting, bro.
So where do we
This is
think
a
we are now? I think we're above Alpine, there or thereabouts.
Oh, you think so? What am I
Yeah,
doing?
man.
You think so? Yeah, above the
Tell
Alpine.
us, guys, where do you think we are?
Mm, this is interesting scenes. This is interesting scenes,
I
man.
think we're just
Otmar in the mud. First of all,
around
let's big up
Alpine
Z, man.
above
Let's
them.
big up Z, man. Let's big up Z for tagging us in there. You know, big up
She
yourself.
is a
Big up
legend.
yourself.
Shouts to
What a
you.
ledge. Absolute legend. Otmar in the mud, 100%. Steflo says where we were up front from about being behind, and then everyone ran with that like we weren't McLaren. Tell them again, Steph. Huh?
Exactly. I don't understand.
They were talking to us like,
They said from the launch the car is not the car that we're wanting to start with. That is going to be coming in Baku, and they still ran with these guys are finished. That was last year's car,
honestly,
man.
they took man for Minardi, bruv. They took us for Rich Energy Has. These guys are mugging me right off. Nah. Do you know what? People need to come outside. Omar says, I nearly called you Omar. Omar says, best of the rest. Steph says,
Rest of the rest.
above Alpine because our drivers are better.
All right, boy. Listen, I reckon if we are even on the same level as Alpine, yeah, let's say we have similarly placed cars, and we do a race, both our drivers beat them. Even if they have a little bit of a car advantage.
Walk on for Gasly. Walk on for Gasly, in your opinion.
I think we did we did the right choice picking Piastri over Gasly.
Pierre Gasly.
Remember, we had that discussion last year. A lot of people were saying, yeah, bring Gasly in.
Drea says, pace-wise, everything between P5 and 7, you never know. But I'm hopeful with the upgrades and for the future. Listen, big up everybody, man. You lot are legit legends.
We're aiming for top 4. Like Stella said.
The top 4, yeah. That's what I'm saying. He said that. He said, listen, Stella said it from the gate.
Not top 5, top 4.
Hey, big up, man. Listen, it's a good time, man. Listen, we're moving. We're moving. You know what I'm saying? We're moving forward.
Let me see this. Let me see this comment. Let me put it up.
Yeah, got you.
That's funny, man. That's funny, man.
I said Alpine said that updates at Baku worked better than expected.
Oh, dearie me. Alpine, that's so funny, man.
Otmar, yeah, since Drive to Survive has been in the mud, man. I'm not gonna lie. He's been in the mud. Ever since the whole thing with Aston Martin, he's been in the mud. Like, fair enough, he's joined Alpine, he's got his gig in it, but man, he knows Alpine's a disaster.
This is a fantastic comment by Drea.
I think nobody knows.
Everybody knows. Nobody knows what to expect in any race. Every team can come good. The field, except Red Bull, is so close. Everything can happen. I fear for Alpine. They were fast before. It's not, to be fair, honestly, like I don't know. Apart from like, because what I do with the Pit Stop Frank guys, we do like predictions every week. Yeah, I do not. Apart from Red Bull, either being P1, P2, I have no idea about the rest of the grid. And as we get to those tracks where the time delta is going to be quite small like that, if you have a good quali session or a good race, you could go from being P13 to P4.
It's so true in a matter of weeks. And the thing is, when you look at the new regulations have made these cars a lot closer together. Like it's no doubt. Like we're all closer together now in terms of the rest of the sort of the back end of the field, middle to back end. It's like it's a mix and match type of thing. And that's the thing. Alpine could easily be P4 next week. Do you know what I mean? They could easily do so because I think there's still pace raw in the car. It's just there's everything else that's wrong with the Renault type car. By the way, we're not. This is not a surprise. This is what they're like every year. This is how they
Engine on
start.
fire already.
All- the engine's cooking. You know what I'm saying already. And we've got like what is it like almost double the points as them in the constructors early doors. But you know what I'm saying we didn't have points to begin with. Like when we didn't have points until what, Australia. So you know what I'm saying? Like at
It's
the end
been
of the
4
day,
races, only got points in 2 of them, and we got more, and we got double the amount of points as Alpine.
and we're
Basically.
P5, and we're P5. Do you know what I'm saying?
We're
So
far away from Ferrari, but we'll get there someday, hopefully.
yeah. Steph's
Go on.
saying that you're bang on here. I lived in Miami for a few years. Mahad got it down pat for how it is down here. Yeah, no, it's a different level.
I was there for like 2 weeks. I became an honorary Cuban. Shout out to all the Cubans.
I swear down, yeah.
Yeah, man.
Right, big up, man.
I was eating the food. I was chilling.
Big up the Fort Lauderdale Massive and the Key West crew. Oh yeah, it gets hot in the east here on the East Coast. The weather is unpredictable. Yeah, when it's hot, see when the man hit 100 degrees and whatnot, the sticky of the stench. Do you know what I mean? But you see me, I'm a hot guy over any season. I'll argue with my wife on this.
No, I could deal with that. I could deal with it. I'm from Africa, man.
You know what I'm saying? I was born in Africa. You know what I mean? I was born in the equator. Okay, give me 40 degrees, yeah, in terms of Celsius. I don't know what that is in Fahrenheit, but give me 40 plus. I could do it. I could do it.
Bro, listen, I'm used to being in places where it's so hot it smells like fire outside. You get me? But look, do you know what? East Coast is like when it's hot, it's hot. I remember I spent the whole summer in Toronto. It was hot.
That's the thing. I swear. And Toronto gets
cold.
They get it cold, innit?
But when it's summertime, boy,
it's there. All right. Last cut. It's 10 minutes to go till the end of the stream. So let's get these comments through. Big up, Amon. I see what you've done with your avatar there. I see what you did with the little profile, little switch up. Yeah, I see you. Obviously, my
how I feel about that. You know how I feel.
Alpine suffering made my day, not gonna lie. Listen, when I saw that barbecue roasting, yeah, then my man, they fix his car, and for him to go smash it in the wall next, nah. They said
Ocon couldn't carry on with the practice session because of precautionary measures. I said, no way. What have they got in their engine?
What is going on, man? Listen, I don't trust that Renault engine, man. Let's be very clear, man. I can't trust them, man. Zach says it's a minimum 70% humidity in the south, in South Florida every day here. Even the sunny days are disgusting.
Do you know, I'll take that over English weather right now.
Listen, the number one reason, I tell you now, the number one reason I leave this country, I leave the UK, I leave London, the number one reason is the weather. No doubt. No doubt. And without any hesitation. Listen, if the Miami Dolphins, yeah, or even what else is down there? What else? Inter Miami, bruv. If anybody wants to holler at me for a job, Miami Heat.
Jacksonville Jaguars. Holler at this guy. Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
I'm taking
He's making a transfer from Arsenal, man.
I'm taking it now, boy. I'm taking it now. Get me over there, man. Oh, what would be living life? Try living in the Caribbean. Oh, yeah, is that where you are at? Yeah, the Caribbean crew.
Man.
We got the Caribbean. I definitely want to
Barbados, Trinidad, Jamaica.
Definitely want to visit these countries, man. Absolutely. But yeah, people are saying best of the rest. Again, you know what I'm saying? The hashtag. Remember, in Stella we trust. Yeah, in Stella we trust. The people can't forget.
Hashtag in Stella we trust.
They can't, man. They can't forget. Absolutely not. Cold weather all day.
Huh?
Cold weather all day. You must be kidding.
Tomatoes,
you must be joking. Tampa Bay Buccaneers. That's what you know.
So what do you think? What do you think? What's your expectations? Let's say by Canada. Obviously, I don't feel we're gonna have upgrades by then, but like,
so Canada,
where do you see us sitting? That's like in
it's about
June.
Yeah, so it's about 4 or 5 races time. Canada, I expect us to be where we are now. We're P5 in the constructors. I'll take that
Just
now.
maintaining our position right now.
Yeah. I'll
We
take
are
that right
P5
now.
in the constructors with 14 points. P4 is 62 points Ferrari.
Yeah. That's what I'm
They took a
saying.
big jump. They took a
Yeah,
big jump this weekend.
they did take a big jump. But yeah, I'd be happy with in a very comfortable fifth. Not like watching over our shoulder. Because like who do we nick in the top four? I know Stella is dreaming and he wants to go for top four. Who do you see us nicking? What position? Whose place are
Do
we
you know what
taking?
it is? I think we need to target the weaker drivers in the top teams. So if, let's say, Stroll has a stinker or Sainz has a stinker, we need to be in those positions that they should be in. Because
Yeah.
let's say we're talking about the top 4 teams, that's 8 positions, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
If we can get P7s, P8s on a consistent basis, whether it be Lando or Oscar getting those 2 positions there,
Yeah.
we're collecting a good amount of points. Let's say there's a DNF ahead of us, stuff like that. We can maybe get a P5, P6 cheeky. I feel like from now to maybe to Canada, we could possibly get a podium, maybe one little cheeky one. Because look, last year was an absolutely impossible podium when we got it,
We
and that
still
was a
got it.
slow.
Yeah.
So I feel like we're very good at taking advantage of those situations, especially when the teams above us have those failings. So I'm really hoping on failings between Ferrari, Mercedes, and Aston Martin to have those slip ups here and there, and us taking advantage of those. But I really just need to see the team being quite consistent. I feel like this weekend, yes, it was a sprint weekend, and all stuff's all over the place, and we've got new upgrades. But little things like not putting Lando out at the round time so you can get the P4 and sticking to that strategy,
Yeah.
not giving Oscar a toe, even though that was maybe justified in their own rationale, and kind of maybe going a little bit longer in the race so then we don't really get caught up in that Ocon Hulk situation and possibly pitting under the safety car. Just little things like that. That's kind of situation awareness. Pit stops seem fine to me, but I feel like we really need to maximize the operations within the team in the next couple of weeks and let other teams above us have those operational failures so we can take advantage.
100%. I think, yeah, knocking, as TSJ also says, knocking on the door of the top 4 teams in the races. But yeah, that idea of like, I'm looking at Sainz, I'm looking at Stroll. I'm not sure who in the Mercedes I'm looking at because they've got some good drivers there, and I'm hoping, I'm hoping we don't have to target Perez for the title race situation. I want Perez to be swinging with Max. Like we need to have that.
I think they're gone. I think them 2 are gone.
Them 2 are gone. So like Sainz and Stroll, we're looking at stabbing one of those guys on the way and literally seeing where Oscar Piastri and Lando Norris fare in that mix. If we're seeing them in that mix, then listen, man.
I think really just 3 key things to think about, guys. Is I think it's really about maximizing driver talent. So Oscar and Lando just got to be on it. Thank God Oscar was really sick this weekend. Hope you get well soon, Oscar. And
that's his flu
he
bug
ran
out
through
the
like
way,
a soldier, man. 4 pieces of toast whole weekend.
Honestly, these man, he got all that experience from Lando. Do you remember Lando was battered? There was one race weekend or even 2 weeks where he wasn't
it was
well.
Spain last year and he was cooking. No, that's another Ricardo Hall of Shame race because this guy Lando was on death's door and he was dealing with him. He didn't drink the whole race, and that race was a hot one as well.
It was a hot one. Stefano saying by Canada, I would love it at least 1 P4 5 finish for Lando. Listen, man, as you say, like the podium there, we can squeeze, man. Things fall in
three things. Drivers, talent, maximizing performance in terms of the team and making the right decision strategy wise and pit stops and everything like that. And then the third thing is really, really, really tweaking and defining what we're going to do in terms of setup.
Yes.
So we're maximizing the upgrades we've got currently so we can take everything out. We can take the max every weekend. If we leave every weekend and we have P9, P10, we should be happy. That should be the minimum. We should be clear of everybody else. Obviously, there's 4 teams ahead of us, 8 drivers. But I'm saying we should be best of the rest. No problem. That's what we should be doing.
Double points finishes at the minimum.
Every single time.
At the minimum. unless something happens. J Starship says at least, science needs to be targeted. Drea says that we have to maximize every opportunity. Absolutely. We're good at that in the past. So let's see if we can do that again. Absolutely. Big up to Ash, who says, need George Russell to conduct some acts of terrorism up front.
I generally believe that there's going to be some actions between teammates
there is going to be
in
some
the next couple of
action.
weeks. Whether
Some
it be Max and Perez, whether it be Hamilton and Russell, whether it be Sainz and Leclerc, Alonso and Stroll's never going to happen. But I feel like those three teams there, something's going to happen between the drivers.
No, absolutely. Amon says, shout out to Daniel for helping with the Imola podium. It would be impossible without him taking care of Carlos Sainz in the first lap. That's fair. I'll give you that. Big up to Daniel.
Shout out to Charles Leclerc for struggling to overtake Sergio Perez, spinning out, then ended up like P7.
Lovely. J Starship says, last couple guys. J Starship says, Lando does good in Imola, so watch him out for him there. Yeah, definitely. I'm definitely
fantastic.
Looking forward to
how many podiums?
Yeah, exactly. Was it 2 in a row?
No, he got a podium last year. Got podium in 2021.
Yeah. And he got a podium in 2020. He got one in 2020. The first race in the Styria or whatever it was. He got it in the very first one.
No. Imola.
Oh, so we're talking about specifically Imola.
Yeah.
Maybe not the first. I don't think we
had
2 in a row.
2 in a row. 2 in a row.
Okay.
Look, one thing I think he's had like 4 in a row 3 in a row in Italy. So he's had Imola, Monza, Imola. If he gets another one,
there we go. Let's see what happens. Ash, we were discussing this before. We're thinking around, just before, maybe after Austria, because that's a sprint weekend. Maybe Silverstone, British Grand Prix settings. We might think that's the second round. And then Z says, I think we'll be decent enough in Miami. Yeah, we need to turn it around for sure.
Obviously, we'll have a big upgrade in July probably, but that doesn't stop us from getting small upgrades here and there. Let's say a rear wing or whatever in the meanwhile.
And then Amon says Stroll and Alonso already happened last year. Well, we'll see.
It was a big crash. They were on different teams now. Alonso's doing mentoring. Change the brake bias. He's doing all that kind of stuff.
Let's do real quickly. The drivers out of 10 for Baku. What are we saying?
I'll say Lando's a solid 8, and I think Piastri's an 8 as well. Solid.
I think that's fair.
I feel
like solid.
Once the Ocon and Hulkenberg thing happened, that's your race dead. And I feel like even like Sonoda and Albon will have his strong races as well. So I'm just going to cap him at 8 just based on quality performances.
Yeah, I think you're right. For the rookiness of Piastri, he's actually driving like he's calm. He's driving like he's a comfortable driver in Formula 1.
The guy's had his Michael Jordan flu game already.
the Michael Jordan flu game. Yes, man. He's had that already. And Drea agrees with you, 8 and 8. I think I'm going to go with that as well. Yeah, I think I'll go with the same. I almost want to give Piastri just a bit more because I just felt like he not wowed me a bit more. I don't want to say that. Whether I'm just getting too used to Norris being as good as he is, that it's no longer like even like, oh, how tremendous was he? Like to me, I'm just like,
it's his 4th race and he's qualified in the top 10 3 times.
Man, like in this McLaren, by the way,
is it 3 times or 2 times? Saudi? No, he didn't qualify top 10 Australia. I don't think so. Yeah, so 2 out of 4 times. Come on. Man.
Okay, 2 out of 4. See, we'll take that, boy.
The top 10 in an absolute boat.
I'm going to go 7.5 for Norris and 8 for Piastri. Nate says, I reckon we will have maybe 3 non-Red Bull wins this season, and Lando and Piastri ain't winning. Neither is Hamilton or Russell. I don't know about that.
So what are you saying? Fernando Alonso win?
He's going to sneak a Ferrari in there. He's sneaking a Ferrari, man. And this guy, he's shameless. He's going to sneak a Ferrari in there, man. I'm telling you.
That Charles Leclerc Monaco wins finally happening. That's what he's saying.
You know them ones. What are we rating the team out of 10?
I'm in general 4, 5.
4, 5.
I feel like just the whole strategic plan for the weekend didn't really go to plan, and I'm gonna have to put that on him still. And Lando looked pretty mad about the way the team was executing.
Yeah. What are we expecting from Miami this weekend? Meanwhile, TSJ Awesome says Lando 9, Oscar 7. You're saying
9th or 10th, 9th and 10th, double points, maybe 8th and 9th.
Drea says the team did a 5. Both had their blunders. That's fair.
Yeah, I'd say
That's
Fab.
fair. Yeah, that's fair. But yeah, for Miami, I'm looking at I mean, listen, what about quali? Is it all about quali getting that car in the Q3s,
Yeah,
both cars in Q3, and then that way we can cement that position for the race?
100%. And then if we get to the race and people overtake us in the DRS zone, so be it. But we just need to get ourselves in that situation in the first place, man.
In the
And
first
man,
place.
the rate, an example of that was this weekend. If Lando Norris put it up P4, we're looking at much more points this weekend.
Yeah, no, that's true. That is true. People putting in their scores here. They're putting in the P5, P7. They reckon for the race
Ooh,
weekend. Yeah,
great.
listen, that sounds delicious. I'm all for it. Listen, this is the customary Ferrari DNF, isn't it? Surely it's coming now, or has it already happened?
No, it's already happened, man. Come on.
See, I'm waiting for a science engine.
And I'm waiting for
A
no, we
Leclerc
already
car.
had Aston Martin. We had the Stroll go out. I think the next engine due to go is Hamilton, because Russell went out. It's either Hamilton or Alonso. One of them two engines are going, or one of our engines is going.
I was gonna say, let's not speak too soon.
Because these Mercedes engines are not looking good.
It's not looking good, bruv. Zach saying that my only prediction for Miami is the freeze crash. Man, I'm calling him Nick Debris, bruv. I was dying, bro. I was like, are you joking?
Nick's debris,
Debris.
man. Nick debris cheese, man. It stinks, man. It's over.
Debris cheese. Hey, Yuki's cooking him this year, man. I ain't gonna
Yuki's
lie.
finishing him, man. People are trying to tell me he's gonna come in and destroy Yuki. No way.
Do you know what? I said he was. I
Yuki's
said
aiming for a Red Bull seat. He ain't got time to be dealing with the freeze.
I was saying, like, Yuki's under pressure here, but he needs to sort it out this year. Two's nice. We can use this Dutchman for me, bro.
If it carries on going on this rate, yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if Yuki signs a contract by June. New contract.
Oh, quite possible. Stefano saying P8 for Lando Norris and P11 for Oscar Piastri. And both cars to get into Q3,
That's
says
the
Drea.
minimum. 100% Q3.
We want that. 8th and 9th, I'm banking on someone having a stinker. Well, I mean, 8th and 9th, I think it would be higher than that if someone has a stinker.
That's the top. No, if somebody has a stinker, that means 8th. That means we've taken 8th from somebody. But
okay,
we'll see.
Okay.
I feel 8th and 9th is realistic.
Alonso will win a race when Max and Perez crash out. So he's banking on the Aston Martin.
If the title race is still close, listen, I was looking at check my Twitter page. I posted the times between Perez and Max lap times.
Yeah,
for like about 20 laps.
Yeah,
Perez was roasted him.
Hey, Perez was on fire on the weekend. Let's be clear. At the race, he was on fire.
So if he's on pace, hopefully in the traditional tracks he can keep pace, because if it's like how it is before, he's going to be finished.
Yeah, man. Hey, listen, guys, big up everybody. Listen, we'll be back on Tuesday. I promise you. Tuesday, 7 p.m. after the Miami Grand Prix, we'll be discussing hopefully our double points finish, our Q3, appearances.
We'll be here to talk about a Lando Norris win. I'm joking.
Hey, listen, McLaren fan all the way, man. Let's do this, people. Yeah, you're done already. Big up, y'all. Let's put the good vibes out there for another positive show next week. Absolutely. Listen, the upgrades are here. We've seen a little glimpse of them. May we see more over practice 1, 2, and 3. You know what? As he said,
we will be there when we win in Imola.
Podium settings, people. Until next Tuesday, people. Yeah, 7 p.m. UK time. Make sure you don't forget us. Follow us at McLaren Fan TV on Twitter. Smash a like on this video. Big up yourself. Until next week. Peace.